friends, it's Miss Jennifer. Welcome to DIY Sensory. So as we get into summertime, the library does a summer theme every year. And this year the theme is Imagine Your Story. And typically when you talk about imagining and creating stories, the first thing that comes to mind is fairy tales. So I thought this week we would try a little bit of fairy tale magic in our sensory. So we are going to make fairy soup, or you could call it dragon soup, or any type of made up soup that you would like it to be. If it was my son, he'd probably want dinosaur soup. Dinosaurs, not made up, but they're not around today either. So we'd be using his dinosaur toys to feed our soup to. So for this, you need a few ingredients. I've got a big clear bowl here, but really any kind of bowl works. And I've put a little bit of water in it just to get us started with our soup, our broth, as it were. You're gonna want a spoon for mixing. I've included tongs just in case that's what my child would like to mix with. And then you're going to have just really anything. So I've got some pine cones, I've got some rocks and acorns, I've got a bunch of plants and leaves and assorted just kind of greenery nature items to put in our soup. I included some food ingredients as well. So I pulled my extracts in case I wanted some sweet smelling something in there. I pulled some spices. I pulled some cinnamon, some onion, some garlic and paprika. I also included what I think is turning into my favorite sensory item, food coloring. And I grabbed some glitter as well. So basically our fairy soup, as we're gonna make today, is anything your child wants to put in it. So for me, my son isn't here to help me today, but I thought we could do some pine cone pieces. So I'm actually just gonna pull the little pieces of the pine cone off and add them into the water. My fairy is a woodland fairy that I'll be making my soup for today. So they like all things naturey. So I've thrown in a few pine cone pieces. I'm gonna put the acorn in there just to add a little bit of nutty flavor. These things that I pulled, I just went to my backyard and pulled them. But really, you could take a nature walk around the neighborhood. You could head to your local park and grab anything that's, not their actual landscaping, that's kind of hanging out in, more of a unlandscaped area. So if you've got a park with some woods in it or a big field, that kind of thing, you can feel free to grab that stuff. I'm gonna toss in a big leaf in there, and I think I'm going to add some garlic powder because I like garlic and I like the smell of it. And it's always fun to let your child help you cook, even if you're not using necessarily ingredients that you'll be actually eating. They can do this. They are helping you cook. They are making their own thing, their own creation, however they want it to look, feel, etc. And mine just has that in there. I'm gonna give it a good stir. And so obviously having the water in it means it could get messy. So if you have little ones, I would recommend doing this maybe on the floor where you can put a towel underneath it, or even better, outside. If you're not doing it while you're cooking and letting your child make their own creation, do it outside. But otherwise, you can do it in the kitchen right next to you, just on the floor. And I want to add a little bit of color to mine. So I'm going to put in some green drops here. I'm going to stir that in. And that is my fairy soup. And like I said, it can be really anything you want ingredient-wise. I'm gonna pan over what I had available. So just some leaves, some flowers, the pine cones, the various spices. And again, whoever they want to create their soup for. So I did mine for a woodland fairy. My son would do his for dinosaurs. I know a bunch of kids that would love to make this for some dragons and make some fiery soup. Just whatever they come up with. So if you make some soup, share a picture of it with us. And if they create a friend or a story for who they would give their soup to or who they would share it with, please share it with us, all right? Have fun imagining your story and creating your soup. Bye, friends.